Hey everyone, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to another episode of Your Competitive Edge with Baird and Warner. I'm Lauren Walker. I'm Senior Director of Strategy here at Inman. And today we are talking about making a plan for 2021. And to do that, I get to chat with David Bailey from Baird and Warner. Thank you so much for being here, David.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, yeah, you're the right guy for this. We've
Perfect.
got, we're here in the fourth quarter, and people are thinking about next year. And I think they're really excited to think about next year. We want 2020 behind us in a lot of ways. So you're here to talk about business planning, and I'm curious why you think a plan matters.
Of course, I mean, listen, I think we are in an industry that is filled with people that kind of fly by the seat of their pants, if you will.
Yeah.
And over my years in the business, I think one thing that is proved itself to be true over and over is the old cliche of if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And real estate is absolutely a fantastic representation of that. So,
Yeah.
um, it's a very flexible industry in a lot of ways, but I think if you truly are looking to be successful, you need to have a solid plan in place.
Yeah, I take that to heart, but it's no fun. Thinking about sometimes planning feels like work. And so I think folks look for kind of a template
Mhm.
or, just let me just download a business plan and figure it out. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, I think it's really important to have some structure in the process, and that's not to say that it is the same structure that will be true for everyone, but there
Right.
needs to be a starting point, right? So I believe in a lot of evaluation. So you need to look backwards and figure out, what worked, maybe what didn't work. Things that maybe you could have tweaked that would have had a little bit of a better result if we had done something just a little bit differently. But then also look forward a little bit and say, okay, based on what's happened in the market this past 6 months, this past year, and maybe in this past day, if we look at 2020, what am I going to change going forward? So I think a structure and a template to work off of really provide that kind of foundation for a successful plan going forward. And that matters.
It really does. Are there different templates or structures that you're familiar with that you can talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. So Baird and Warner really spends a lot of time on the business planning preparation.
Mhm.
We look at it in a few different phases. So one will be, of course, evaluation and looking backwards and what worked and what didn't work. But
Right.
second is, what are your goals? What are you looking to do? And somebody may come to me and say, listen, my goal is to close $25 million next year and have 100 transactions. That person will obviously have a very different plan than the person that comes and says, I'm good with $5 million in closed sales and 10 transactions. So you have to understand where you're coming, where you want to go in order to decide how to get there.
Sure.
And we work to develop the tactics that are necessary to support that plan.
So, is business planning the kind of thing that people should do right now and then that's all they need to worry about? Is it an ongoing thing? What's kind of a best practice there?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I will tell you this. I think the mistake a lot of people make is they look at it as a snapshot in time. They do it
Yes.
right now. They
Yeah.
prep for 2021. It's a fantastic plan. And then that plan goes into a drawer or into a file or somewhere. It's never looked at again. So while I do believe this is a fantastic time, early November, even end of October, to start thinking about next year, uh, really it has to be an ongoing evaluation of that plan as you work throughout the year. And 2020 is the perfect example of that. We had some fantastic plans in place that were running on all cylinders in January and February, and come March, we had to pivot very quickly. And the people that were on top of those plans and ready to make those necessary adjustments, they have had stellar years. And I give them all the credit in the world for being on top of it. But they truly had a vested interest in being able to make those adjustments on the fly.
So, how do you check in on a business plan and how do you know how you're doing? What are some structures that you could put into place?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways you can approach it, but accountability matters, and I
Mm,
put some fantastic plans in place with people. But if all I did was work on that plan and then we never checked in, we never knew what was actually going on, the likelihood of that plan being successful is fairly low. And whether that's a simple check-in of a, hey, we had committed to doing this strategy for a period of 2 weeks. Tell me how it went. Just me asking that simple question of tell me how it went. They know that question is coming. So they better have some feedback on how it went. So that accountability piece really matters. And sometimes it's activity based. Sometimes it's setting people up in small groups that are like-minded and looking to develop a similar tactic. And just very simplistically, if we talked about, let's say, open house conversion as a strategy, if you brainstorm with a few different people, you are guaranteed to walk away with a strategy or a dialogue or something that will make you better at what you do, and you're going to share something with them that helps them. So part of our business planning process also includes small group get-togethers, because
Okay.
I think that's another way to continuously focus on the improvement.
That's a really interesting distinction because I know with Baird and Warner, there's the managing broker.
Yes.
And so what is the difference in the conversation between the managing broker and accountability and then peer to peer?
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think oftentimes brokers will share things with their peers that they wouldn't be willing to share with their managing brokers, right? So you have maybe a more honest conversation. And also, I think salespeople are naturally very competitive, so there's a sense of competition that builds within those groups as well. And you don't want to be the one that shows up without having your activities done, or the one that's not seeing the results from the same plan that you're executing on. So to me, I've always found that very beneficial and something that we like to facilitate on a regular basis.
And so are there digital tools that you use at Baird and Warner for business planning and accountability?
Yeah, so we have some fantastic editable documents that really help brainstorm, not just on the business side, but the kind of the holistic look at running a business and finding the balance between, I guess, the never-ending pursuit of balance between your personal life and your business life. But I think that matters. If you're not feeding yourself, if you're not taking good care of yourself, which is the single biggest asset in your business, then there's challenges moving forward. So we have fantastic documents that our training department does a really, really good job of putting together. We collaborate with some very well-known national trainers. This year, we just finished a series with Tom Ferry, who many of you will know. He led a session private for Baird and Warner brokers. And then we had a follow-up session with Jason Pantana, who is his marketing expert, who came in and brainstormed on different ideas to really engage your sphere. And then we have a final session coming up in December where we're kind of put a bow on everything and get it all ready to go for launch in 2021.
That's fantastic. That is a whole lot of tools.
It is. It is.
That's a whole lot of tools and systems. So say I'm an agent and I have never put together a business plan and the idea scares me. How would you talk me through it?
I honestly say keep it simple, right? So the first thing is you have some ideas about what you think you would like to do to build your real estate business. And really, the concept of building a real estate business is I need to have as many conversations and as many engagements as I possibly can so that people know, like, and trust me to help them with any real estate related opportunity. And so we would start by just saying, bullet point to me all of the different places and venues and relationships that you have and tactics that you've thought about to build your business. From there, we would take those ideas and we would try and put a quantity behind them. So we would say, okay, Lauren, that's great. You know 100 people in this location, and we can start to build your real estate street cred, if you will, by doing these following things and sharing market insights and opportunities and case studies and social media posts on activities that you're doing out in the field. And we start to just really break it up into different tactics. And we've been doing this long enough to know that if you're following certain activities, they generally will lead to a certain number of transactions as a result. So it is predictable. The one piece that's not predictable is, will you stay committed to the plan that we put together? And that's where it all comes together.
So how do you build in predictability?
So that's part of the fun, right? I guess that's where accountability really does come in.
Yeah.
And we say this a lot too. I cannot do it for you. I can't want it more than you want it. I love real estate because you truly are placing a bet on yourself, and you're launching a real estate business, and it's very exciting. But you have to execute on that business. And so if you have the right group of people around you, if you have people that are rooting for you and helping you make the necessary changes along the way to truly help you be successful, you're going to beat the odds. It's a very rewarding business, but it can be a very scary business. And so we want to make sure that we give you all of the tools and resources necessary to put you on the side that keeps it exciting.
So you mentioned tools, David. That's kind of interesting to think. So as you're putting together this business plan, and I'm the new agent. I'm excited and nervous. Are you also kind of drilling down into, here are some of the tools that you should use to execute on these ideas?
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's all sorts of different personality types that can be successful in real estate. Again, I don't believe in a one size fits all approach. I'm not going to sit here and give you a book and say, okay, here's the book that you need to
Right.
follow. How you build your business. But I do believe that for the right person, they need to identify what those tools are to help them be successful. So let's say you are extremely introverted, and the idea of being out and talking in front of people is just your palms start sweating and it doesn't feel right to you. The last thing I would recommend as a tactic is for you to go out and give speeches or seminars or things of that nature on, how real estate could benefit somebody from an investment perspective. Whereas somebody who comes from a public speaking background or they love giving presentations, then we are going to use that as part of a tool or a resource that we're going to bring in place and really leverage there. Uh, and then there's of course the technology pieces of it as well. So whether it's a CRM, which Baird and Warner offers to truly support some of those ongoing relationships, or online lead generation. So somebody who's maybe a little bit more introverted but is comfortable on the phone, uh, we will absolutely leverage our CRM to build out some campaigns that will drill down on some follow up and try and create opportunities for appointments. So it really is matching the right tool to the right person and the right tactic to hopefully implement the success as quickly as possible.
Well, that's fascinating. And I think it's really helpful to know how customizable a business plan can be based on what kind of business you want, what your goals are, and who you are as a person and as a professional.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that is really one of the most empowering things about a real estate career. One of the reasons I love it. Clearly, every year is not the same. Things change, markets change, opportunities change, but it is a fantastic, rewarding career. And the people that treat it as a career and treat it as a profession and have a plan that they follow on a regular basis, they see the rewards from that on a regular basis.
Fantastic. Well, it brings to mind the idea of, trying to eat right and trying to work out is the only
Right.
thing you can do is do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have to take action. We can
Yes.
talk about it all day, and there's a quote. My father, I grew up in a real estate family, so my father owned a real estate company out in the Northeast, and uh, one of the quotes he had on his wall was always "deeds, not words." And that is absolutely true with real estate all day, every day. It's true with all sorts of things, right? But with real estate and planning and everything on that, we have to do it. We can't talk about it. We have to get out there and we have to do
Absolutely. Deeds, not words.
it. So,
That's fantastic. David, thank you so much. This was really helpful.
likewise, thank you for the opportunity.
You are most welcome. Have a great day.
You too.